Okay, I'm Steve Pomeroy, and I teach at Ralston Middle School in Belmont, California. It's awesome. I'm just trying to soak it all in. I'm starting to realize we only have, I guess, 3 days, and then we leave, and I'm going to miss it. I want to experience as much as I can. The amount of construction that's going on, and how fast things are changing. And yet out in the rural areas where when we went from the end of our river cruise to Wuhan here, we took a bus ride, and the farmland seems to not have changed a lot. I saw a farmer plowing his field behind an ox, and the buildings look older, and large parts of the country seems to have sort of stayed the same and not changed, which I guess is more what I was expecting. But when you get to the big cities, it's like daily looks different. It's like, whoa. There's a lot of things that I've been noticing. One, like I mentioned, the bus ride here. I grew up in rural Wisconsin, and things change very slowly there, in like the Bay Area, which I guess doesn't change quite as fast as here, but they change faster. I go to downtown Palo Alto, and I don't go there often, but I'll go there, and maybe I go there 6 months later, and it's like, oh, hey, those stores weren't there before. But when I grew up, it's been 30 years since I left, and last time I went back about 5 years ago, it still looked pretty much the same. Yeah. And so that's sort of, the bus right here sort of reminded me of Wisconsin, actually. It was very similar. Now the buildings were different and the crops were different, but you plant different crops and you paint the barns red and stick silos next to them, and it's Wisconsin. So it actually sort of felt like home, and I took a lot of pictures of that because my wife grew up on a farm, and she's really into gardening, so I thought she'd like to see the different crops. What's happening behind me here with the Tai Chi, it's sort of what I was watching reminded me of aerobics classes in Wisconsin, sort of a group social exercise time, because everyone, I guess, could be doing this, alone at home, but they're choosing to come in the morning to do it at a group, sort of like fitness centers back in the U.S. So and actually just walking around. Because the San Francisco area is so diverse, sometimes I even forget that I'm in China, and it looks like home, sort of, and it's not as diverse. There aren't, pretty much everyone is Chinese except for our group, and actually I think from what I've seen, just our group. I've talked with some of the students here, very nice. And I think I guess probably with the whole world, it's everyone is becoming a little bit more the same. You still have your cultural differences, but we're starting to blend a little bit more with everything. Well, part of what I'm doing is I'm just sort of with my curriculum. It's a little different than everybody else's. Because they're studying their China, their topic, for a month or so, and then they need to move on to Africa and other countries, other cultures. But I'm sort of giving the year a Chinese theme to my animation classes, and so part of what I do every year is teach the kids how to get started with animation, and. Just the trip alone, the pictures I've been taking have been geared toward that. So one of the first projects they're going to do is a Mr. Means. I think I mentioned it before. Mr. Means and Mr. Pomeroy go to China, and so they're going to learn about China sort of indirectly as they're basically learning how to do animation for their first project, and I'll be telling them about my experiences. So in addition to whatever they're getting from, actually some of my students probably will have Gary Means for social studies. So in addition to what he gives them and the other teachers give them, they'll get it from me also from a different perspective, which I think is a good thing. The more different ways you get information, the more you learn. And then also I've been, like yesterday with the calligraphy, I'm going to be doing a unit on linear animation and using mostly the Olympic symbol, the chop for the Olympic symbol, but the calligraphy we did yesterday also related to that. I was really excited to be part of that, although I wasn't very good at it. But I draw, I paint, I don't do calligraphy very well. but that'll be part of it. And then what I'm doing with Gary, because his project's going to, or our joint project's going to be out on about the Yangtze River, and so again, his students will do most of the research and stuff on that. But those that have me again, or those that don't have him but only have me, will also be getting background and information while we're working on our animation part of that project. Because I was able to be here and I could actually talk about it, from firsthand experience, which is a lot different than, well, Mr. Mean just told me that we're doing this. I can talk with a little bit more authority and passion about that.